of impressive level withdrawal. Yeah.
They gotta have Haener.
Why you gotta be like that, man? She TV to the TV. Simple. Look at them on Quincy Riley. Q-U-I-N-C-Y? My phone almost died. He was moving in that slow motion.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, it is hot.
You're hot. Wait.
Alvin, you up? You good?
Ross Jackson, we good?
Yeah.
You good, Alvin? Up. And you just jinxed him.
That would be hilarious.
I'm just pretty much doing whatever.
It's like we got Kellen on the way.
Stand by, everybody. 25 yards away.
It's not official until
Sorry,
Man, that's almost a red zone.
Doug, no.
Stand by, 15 yards away.
I mean,
here we go.
Ricardo.
You guys ready to roll?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So 2 transactions today. Julian Blackman, Jonathan Bullard, got a chance to sign those guys, so fired up to have them a part of our team. Really good work today. A little bit more of a red zone theme today, just coming into the second day as we can continue to, acclimation period and build this thing up. And so excellent work, good energy. Really enjoyed it.
Do you mind the dust up that we had there near the end? I mean, obviously it's expected. Like, what are your opinions?
Those things are going to come up. You're going through great work, and so obviously you want to try and eliminate them as much as you can. But sometimes it's good to get guys to rally together, and we'll be just fine.
Do you have any philosophy on that? Like, if it rises to a certain level, like, do people get kicked out of practice?
Yeah, we'll deal with all that stuff as it goes. But usually our guys are pretty good about working together and getting it addressed.
Kellen, how much do you guys study like efficiency of time? Because like the amount of stuff you guys get done is kind of staggering relative to everything else we've seen around here. Like how much do you study that, plan it out, and how much effort goes into that?
Certainly, we spend a lot of time just trying to be as detailed as we possibly can. Get the drills, be really clean, operate at a really high level. Because again, we got to maximize every chance we get out here and put these guys in a really good position to be successful. So that tomorrow will be our 3rd day in a row, which is kind of the longest length we'll go in a row, which will be our 3rd day. So it'll be the first time they'll do that. They'll have to push through it. It'll be a really good test for them, and we'll just continue to build as we go.
Is that something you developed over time? Was there like an influence on that, or is it just
I think certainly a lot of places that you've been, you're always leaning on those experiences, and I feel like there's times where practice is going to be really long, and we got to go through that process and be really, push them through a really long practice, which will come in pads. But right now, we're trying to be really efficient and get these guys moving.
Is there some philosophy behind red zone on day 2 that you like?
Yeah, just to bring the distance down a little bit. Yesterday was their first day going, which was a go get it, and they opened up and they had to run, and now we kind of tighten the space just to limit some of those long distances. Sometimes there's some sports science associated with that, just as far as protecting these guys.
You mentioned the other day about that look, quarterbacks are going to throw interceptions in camp. We saw the first one today. So now what are you wanting to see after that?
Yeah, it's always about how you respond to adversity. And so guys are going to make mistakes. Spencer threw an interception today in a red zone period, which he'd done so many good things down there, and those one moments change games. And so he gets to evaluate it, learn from it, and I thought he responded really well.
The play right after that, you had the scramble right up the middle. How do y'all chart that in a non-contact environment?
Yeah, it's all about decision making. He made a great decision. It's kind of part of the Red Sea a little bit there, and he just ran through it, and so we're all good.
What do you think about Tyler Shuck getting a chance to run for once today?
Yeah, we'll continue to go through that process for all these guys. I thought Tyler did a good job, working with those guys, communicating at a really high level, and that'll be a great experience for all these guys just to continue to rotate with those guys.
Whenever you swap out quarterbacks when it comes to rotating with the starters, what is the main thing you're looking for with them?
Yeah, again, the same stuff that we've talked about just from a consistency standpoint. They'll play with different players. They'll have to communicate with different guys. Eric's played center for a really long time in this league, and he's one of the best in the NFL. And so when you get a chance to team up with him, make sure you communicate at a really high level because he's going to be on it.
Colin, we're going to be able to talk to the quarterbacks today. You played quarterback. What's it like training camp competition, as a quarterback when you're in a battle?
Yeah, it's just focus on the task at hand. Focus on your reps, your opportunities. You can't get too distracted in that there's other people a part of a competition. You focus on yourself, whether it's 6 reps that day, 4 reps, 10 reps, whatever it may be. Just keep getting better, learn from your mistakes, and I think all of our guys, like we've said before, all these guys have faced adversity, in their past from an NFL or college perspective, and so these guys know how to handle these things.
Related to that you guys want them to think of this as kind of like being a point guard, making the right decisions, taking the shots when they're there, and whatnot, in order to really get acclimated to this system. How have they been kind of adjusting to that, and is today kind of a red zone day more prominent with that kind of logic?
Well, certainly I think a lot of it comes down to that decision making, that consistency, them just going through, playing really, really fast and decisive. I think sometimes we can make quarterback position as complicated as we want it to, and these guys got to have a clean process, trust the process, make really good decisions, get the ball out of their hands, and I think these guys are doing a really good job of that.
Just a process question. Do you have notes now, for instance, for Tyler later about what you saw just now? Do you have notes now, or will you watch the tape first and then, or do you try not to bombard them with too many notes at this point?
Post practice is just get these guys ready to go. We will have afternoon meetings the way our schedule goes. We got practice in the morning. We'll watch the film right after this. We'll then transition into a practice review session for special teams, offense, defense. We'll come out here and do a walkthrough in the afternoons, which is really good work because we get corrections and then we get some of the additional stuff that we may not have gotten through practice. And so we do that routine, and then in the evenings is our install. So we kind of get into this flow. This is our second day of it now, so we're starting to find our rhythm.
Do you know a lot of the things like you would want to tell them at this point, or do you figure it out too when you watch it?
You take a lot of notes during practice of things that immediately jump out, on both sides of the ball and special teams, and so you're constantly taking those notes, and then we'll evaluate it as a staff to see what clips and what notes we need to make.
When a quarterback competition is going on, and is there a difference from a mental standpoint for the guys going through that versus going in knowing you're going to be the guy?
Yeah, I mean, competition always is a part of this process, and so sometimes there's certain places in the NFL where people probably have fairly defined roles, and whether it's a starter or a backup, but these guys get a chance to compete, and I think that's all you can ask for as a player in the NFL is a chance to compete, to go start and play for a team.
When there are penalties or operation errors, does it cut into reps at all? Do you have to redo the same play 2 times or 3 times? Does it cut into?
Yeah, there's consequences with it. I think if you make a mistake on the field pre-snap, we just switch that guy out. There's consequences related to that. You're not playing the next play, and then we'll get him back in eventually. Anything post-snap, we move on to the next play. We obviously missed that opportunity.
Kellen, they talk a lot about Tyler and Spencer. What are your notes and what are your thoughts on Jake and Haener?
Yeah. I think all 4 of these QBs, again, they've done a really good job. I think they're wired the right way. They prepare the right way. I love Jake's decisiveness out there on the field, and so when he sees he trusts it, he lets it rip. And so excited for all these guys to compete and all have an opportunity to compete in this situation.
Will Jake have first team tomorrow then?
We'll talk about it as we keep going, and I anticipate him being with the ones in some capacity tomorrow. Yeah, for sure.
Coming from Philly, where you had one of the top 1-2 punchers at receiver in the league, where do you view Shaheen Olave on their path to having that kind of impact?
They're heading in the right direction, and they're doing an awesome job. Obviously, you see it out there on the field. They've been really productive in the NFL, and now it's a matter of just being out there and being consistent and continuing to play. And so we feel like we got a great group there.
Julian Blackman, what did you like about him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big-time player. Julian, he's played in this league for a number of years now, played at a really, really high level, productive. He's got ball skills. He's got a great feel for the game. He's got a really diverse background as far as playing corner in college, playing some safety, and so he brings some versatility, and so we like that about him, and we're fired up to get him.
Is there any next step that you want? I mean, you mentioned Tyler doing a great job preparing through the OTAs, mandatory minicamp, all that process, and now is there a next step you wanted to take kind of physically when it comes to kind of implementing it other than decisiveness?
Yeah, I think each of these quarterbacks, as you go through this, it's a preparation aspect, and then ultimately there's what happens on the field, and that's the physical component, but that's also the decision-making part of this, and so these guys just got to keep growing and keep playing consistent football.
What's the path kind of for Deckers, and what do you guys want to see from him?
Yeah, certainly develop in every aspect. He's with Scotty a ton during post practice, pre practice. He'll sneak in there on occasion, and so as this training camp goes, he'll certainly get his opportunities, and he'll be ready to contribute in these preseason games as well.
What do you like about Bub Means? What are some things that stand out about his?
Yeah, Bub's done a nice job. I think one of those guys, when you get into that second year, there's always that second year jump, and so your first year there's a lot of stuff going on in the NFL, and then your second year you start finding your rhythm, and so we expect that from Bub. He's done a nice job this offseason, and he'll be ready to roll.
How much of that do you see when it comes to Spencer Tyler maybe with that second year jump and finding your rhythm early?
I think there's a lot of understanding the expectations. You understand the rhythm of what training camp looks like and feels like, and so there's a number of guys that we expect that second year in the NFL to contribute at a really high level.
Is there a reason you wanted Spencer to be the number 2 today rather than have it go
We'll just kind of rotate through. We're trying to get as many different opportunities for these guys and balance out the reps.
You mentioned that you liked Spencer's film last year and that he showed a lot of good things.
Yep.
How much do you kind of reference that when thinking about his development here? What was successful with him last year and what wasn't? Do you apply any of that into what he can be with your offense?
Here's probably the initial evaluation process, and really right now we're really focused on this. Obviously there'll be reference points as you continue to build, but a lot of that was acknowledged. We think he did some really good things last year, and we're really focused on now what the task is at hand.
Are you calling anything differently depending on who's quarterback, or are they all getting the same?
Right now it's pretty balanced. It's not really specific to a quarterback, giving them all different exposures, and so obviously that changes as you progress.
How often do y'all intend to have officials out at practice?
As many days as we can.
Is there is that like a CBA thing, or is there?
No. I think there's always options available. Yeah, sometimes there'll be NFL officials at certain parts of our camp, and then we have an opportunity to bring some guys in who are more from a local perspective, coach or officiated, college and high school around here.
Could you rehash specifically just a few examples with Spencer Rattler of what you did like from his film coming into this year?
Yeah, I thought he had a tremendous ability to start fast and play really, really decisive last year. And I thought there's some really big time games in there where he was decisive. He'd take shots in the pocket and deliver at a big time level. He had a couple late in the year where he hung in there. He's dealing with some adversity. He's hanging in there and throwing deep outs and over routes. And so he has some athleticism that's sometimes sneaky that shows up. Certainly on game day when it's live bullets. And so he does a really good job there.
And in terms of individual time management, I know every year is going to be different. Ideally, like as a head coach, you'd have this 30,000-foot view, right? You'd be the CEO. But having been a quarterback, and with the quarterback situation here being so front and center, do you think you're going to end up spending more time in your first year as a coach analyzing that position and thinking about it?
Potentially a little bit, just as we go through it. Again, you're responsible for all aspects of this thing, and so that's the fun part of this. Connect with all those guys, but we'll let this thing play itself out.
How closely did you work with Jake when he was recovering, and what did you see from him today?
Haener?
Jake, yeah.
Yeah. So Jake was right there through the whole process during the whole entire off-season program. I mean, he wasn't taking the reps, but he was right there doing everything he could from a walkthrough, a mental standpoint, and so you can tell he still took advantage of the off-season program in every possible way he could, and he was ready and prepared to hop out there and go.
Thanks, Al.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Teacher's pet.
No. Please never do that before I've asked my end of the press conference.
Oh yeah. No, but I know you always laugh. That's
Yeah.
I gotta have to study Brandon's
Brad comes
corner.
with that the end.
Where's the closer?
You're the closer.
Always
I
the
know.
closer. Always the closer.
Hey, Mike.
Interesting stuff from the officials. I remembered our conversation partway through it.
No, I was curious too. Yesterday I meant to ask him in like 88 minutes. Checked out.
The only reason why I jumped in
Anybody watching on the live stream, there is a few minute break between the coach and the players. We do expect all 4 quarterbacks, but there are 2 podiums. We expect Shuck and Rattler to be on this podium, which would be on the live stream. It's possible that Haener and or Hunter Deckers could go to the other podium, but we'll see. But stand by, somebody's coming.
I agree. We're gonna see Cassidy, right?
He was rolling.
Matthew, how long that went? How long that went? How long that went? It needs to be on like
He said the Rattler. All right, everybody.
Spencer Rattler up first.
Stay about it.
Good. Alrighty. Spencer, does anything change about your process when you're in like a competition like this mentally? You know, like do you seek out like a mental coach? Do you think about how you're going to approach a competition versus going into something with a known role?
No, I mean, I think you just gotta try to be at your best every day. Try to get better and better each day, and try to make the guys around you, the team around you, better when you're in. And like we say, iron sharpens iron, and all of us love competing. I mean, it's just part of the game. You're going to compete in whatever role you got. So, looking forward to the opportunity, having fun with it.
So it's just kind of like a natural like athletics thing, right? Then, like you don't have to really
just part
think
of it.
about it too much.
Yeah, it's just part of the game and something you got to deal with.
Especially last season, I guess you kind of in a competition for this number 2 position, maybe. Do you kind of build off of that or learn something from that?
Say it one more time.
I'm saying like last season, you kind of in a competition, I guess, for like the backup spot.
Yeah.
So you kind of get something out of that or draw something from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's similar. Another competition, just for a different role. Feel good coming into this. Felt good coming in OTA's minicamp, and feel good right now. Obviously, a lot of stuff to clean up, but everybody looks good. The guys look good. Loving our QB room. I think it's been great. We love building with each other, and then we go out there and compete. So I think it's great for all of us.
Spencer, does it become hard to strike a balance between working on something that's maybe not a strength and trying to learn to do that better versus trying to just get the best results possible, especially in like 11 on 11?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to have the best results possible every time you step on the field, 7 on, 11 on, and then you can take care of the little things you want to clean up after practice like we do. But really, it's just the operation, the communication, how smooth is it, can we get in and out the huddle, and I'd say that's the biggest part.
So the fact that you went through competition last year, how much has that helped you when it comes to the process this year?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot. Feel very clear-minded coming into this year, knowing what I want to accomplish and knowing what our group wants to accomplish. So just want to come out here, play good ball, and keep getting better.
Spencer, right? You were able to respond from the interception and you took it in yourself. What was your process like mentally when you threw the pick, then you ran it into a TV?
Yeah, it was a really clean day up until that. I think that's the biggest focus is we have to keep, finish the day out strong. You got to start fast and finish faster. But yeah, just got to, make a smart play, throw it away further if I'm going to do it in the back of the end zone. But you got to respond, next play mentality. They want to open it up, go ahead and run it in.
Is that what happened on that play? You didn't throw it away far enough?
Got to put more on it. Just missed it. Bad decision.
How much do you like? How do you handle that when you? I mean, obviously the next play was a solid play, but are you good at? Do you think at flushing that and forgetting it?
I think you have to be. Can't let it phase you, because there's another play. You're going to be back on the field again, but you want to limit those as much as you can, especially in the red zone.
Spencer, the adversity that you had in college, Oklahoma, South Carolina, how much is that helping you out right now in this competition?
I think it helps out a little bit. I've seen a lot of things happen, so I mean, you can't really put your trust into everything. You got to just kind of control what you can and do your best and see what happens. But very confident in what we can do as a group. And like I said, it's good to have everybody back healthy. Everybody's looking great right now, and feels good to have everybody out there and have a new system, new staff, and get things rolling.
How was the work this offseason with Chris and Rashid?
Yeah.
And how does that kind of impact y'all coming into this play?
Yeah, I think it helped a lot. Having those guys out for 2 days, got a lot of good work in out there, and just builds chemistry, builds consistency, and I think connecting with those guys a little better now, than last year. Obviously, not getting as many reps with them. So it was great to have those guys out and build on what we already did in OTAs and minicamp.
How big of a, ignoring the noise, especially in a situation like this, how big of a component is that to just, staying mentally right to be able to go out there and compete?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to hear the noise, obviously. It's just part of the profession. But, we've been hearing noise for a long time now. So nothing new at this point. Just have to keep keep the work habits in building, keep building with the guys and go out there and put a good product on the field.
Do you ever feel like moves change whenever you're in a deal like today with Tyler thinks they're going to win with the twos?
I mean, it's the same approach. You want to make each group look good, no matter who you're with. 3s, 2s, 4s, 1s. You want the same results. So, had a good first day. Thought we had a good second day, and we'll be back at it tomorrow, and it goes back and forth. So it's just part of the competition, and you got to embrace it.
What are your impressions of Tyler, Shuck, right now, both as a teammate and a player?
Say it one more time.
What are your impressions of Tyler as a teammate and a player?
Yeah, I've known Tyler for a while now. Mutually, we grew up in the same area. He's a good dude. I mean, he's got a good arm. He's a good QB, and we've been building with each other pretty well. And I wouldn't say it's like a toxic QB room at all. We're in there having fun, chopping it up, and that's what I like about the group. Him, Hunter Deckers, Jake Haener. Obviously been with Jake for a year now, so I really enjoy working with those guys and competing with them too.
How much would you say that y'all push each other? Like, oh, he did that, now I want to go do this. Like, is there,
There's probably a little bit of that inside with all of us, right? We all want to one-up each other in drills and this and that. That's just part of competition. If you don't want to do that, then you're probably not built for this.
What's impressed you the most behind the scenes about, obviously you're surrounded by guys who work with a ton of QBs, with Kellen, Doug, Tolzien. Has there been, a moment behind the scenes that's really impressed you about those guys and that coaching staff, and what is it about them that makes you think that they're really good for quarterback development?
Obviously, they all played the position, and like you said, they've coached a lot of great quarterbacks. I'd say their level of detail is very impressive. The amount of stuff we get into 1 or 2 meetings is a lot, and we all retain it pretty well. I think how Coach Moore schedules the schedule out and how he takes care of us, that shows a lot about him. And he's a player's type of coach, but is very gifted mentally within this game, and especially at the quarterback position.
What has Cooks brought just in terms of leadership and cohesiveness and togetherness and all that stuff?
Yeah, obviously he's a vet in this league, and just another great, obviously, weapon for us, but another great leader. Seen a lot, been through a lot, obviously started his career here, so kind of knows what it takes and knows what it's supposed to look like.
Is it a noticeable difference? Playing for a head coach that was a quarterback as opposed to last year?
For sure. Definitely a difference, and I think that's kind of where the league is trending, but yeah, I enjoy it.
What do you make of the tempo that he likes to run?
I enjoy it. I think that's a strength of mine. I think that's a strength of our guys. That can help our O-line out up front, take some pressure off of them, and obviously you see the type of weapons we got outside. I think you get the end tight ends, get those guys rolling with some tempo. I think it's great.
Do you have a feel for when to how do you guys push it? Like, is it? Oh, that's my phone. Do you is there a signal from the sideline that indicates, all right, it's time to go? Do you have a say in that? Like, how does it kind of work?
I think you always just want to have some sort of urgency about yourself. Even if it's a huddle call, you want to have urgency in and out the huddle. And then, you know, how everything else takes care of itself, it does with whatever he's calling. But obviously we'll switch it up. But you always want to have urgency.
Thanks to the fact that there wasn't a veteran quarterback brought into the room, but you have former quarterbacks at each key position for yourself. How much is that really shown when it comes to having veteran presence in the QB room?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think these guys all played the position, have coached a lot of good quarterbacks themselves, and you know, if we got questions, we can ask them, and they've been a great help so far.
We've heard a couple people reference Kellen's like time efficiency, and like how does that actually like play out for y'all? How does that impact y'all as a team? When the coach kind of mapping everything out?
Yeah, I think he's got a clear vision. Obviously knows what he wants within, you know, the goals, but also the schedule, and you know, gives us time to recover, gives us time to mentally get ready for meetings, and kind of just attack whatever we're doing.
Might be too early to ask, but how does that translate into things like game planning or scheme? I mean, I guess probably not game planning, but scheme and building the offense.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, you know, when we get there, but you know, I got all the faith in you know, he's going to do a great job with that, just based how it's been now, you know, how practice is scripted, how it's scheduled, very detailed.
Spencer, for Kellen's offense is quarterback friendly in the sense it's a lot of drive starters, like easy completions early in drives. Would you agree with that? And how is that helpful for a quarterback?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think you know, he'll call whatever to start out the drive. Obviously, we haven't gotten too many, you know, call it periods, 11 on 11 full pads yet, but you know, I'd expect him to call anything and get a positive play on the first play.
If you had to highlight a couple of ways that you evolved both as a player and a professional from last year to now, and what are the things that stand out to you about maybe what's changed in yourself?
Yeah, I think just kind of knowing what to expect, you know, finding areas of weaknesses that I needed to get better at in the off season, and you know, kind of circling those and attacking those, and then just the overall preparation of everything, just really mastering it, really owning my craft, and you know, feel like I've taken steps in that area.
Kellen, what are you looking forward to for the rest of the year?
Just building each day with the guys. Just looking to get better and better. Keep everything moving, and keep having fun. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It appears Jake Haener is up next.
But it's pretty good. What do you do? Just
Beautiful people.
How we doing, everyone?
What's up, Jake?
What's up, guys? Wow. You beautiful people. You guys are great. How we doing?
Good. Better after that.
Hell yeah.
We weren't feeling.
You got to bring some energy. It was hot out there today, man. Holy crap.
Might have been hot, but you had a good. Go ahead. All right.
I'm liking your energy right now. We're going to start with him, Ross.
Yeah. Start with the one to Juwan.
Yeah, no, that was good. I need to communicate with my equipment manager, Rich, a little better. We were trying to go on a little different cadence. So it was actually snapped it a little early, which is okay. It works out. But they were playing some sort of 3 deep, 4 under. They played buzz. We're running choice with the back. First that coverage, choice isn't great. And Juwan kind of leaned on the corner, leaned on him, and then broke to the corner. And I just kind of reacted off the choice route to the corner. And Juwan made a great play.
You like the opportunity to let one rip like that, don't you?
That one ripped pretty good. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was really fun. Yeah, especially in this mugginess. Sometimes you got to put some of that rosin on your hand and just let it go, man. But no, that felt good. That's why I play, and for those reasons, it's good to be back and to feel healthy again.
Jake, when you're in a competition, does it change like the mental aspect of it at all? Like when let's say you have a bad moment in practice to like flush it, not let it fester and turn into more.
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest thing that you can tell yourself is these competitions aren't won with one rep. And just like I told those guys out there, number one, it's a long camp. Number two, I just got to do everything I can to focus on what I can control. And in those situations, outside of camp, like I said, long camp, but I just need to be super dialed and laser focused on what I'm doing with my group, my guys, my receivers at that time, and just try to go execute. And I think the more you have fun with it, the more you enjoy it, the better you play. And when you're the underdog, when you can compete a little bit, when your back's up against the wall, that's when I play my best, and that's just, you know, kind of the mindset I try to have.
Are you the kind of guy who like would ever reach out to like a mental coach or like?
I have in the past, yeah. I've had a sports psych guy. His name's Brett Sandwick. He's got his social media thing is Elite Mentality. He works with the Green Berets, Special Forces, and you know, my biggest thing is just kind of having a mindset each game, each week, just of what happens when things don't go my way, or what happens when things are going my way, and what do I want to be my reset when those things happen, and how do I just stay right here. But also, most importantly, like, what is my mindset going into a game? My approach is I'm always the underdog. I always got a chip on my shoulder. I want my teammates to feel, you know, my energy, my passion, and my command of the huddle, because I think when those things happen, we tend to be more crisp, more upbeat, and when those things happen, we execute.
Do you find that you kind of have to have the same mentality when it comes to strong days? Like, we always talk about having a short-term memory when it comes
Yeah, you
to,
know, I just think it's trying to be consistent. And when you're in a camp like this, it's, you know, I don't know, 25 to 30 practices and 3 preseason games. Like, you guys were out there last year. I felt like last year I kind of had a slow build, and then the last 20 practices, it was just consistent, because those coaches are going to want to put the most consistent guy out there. Doesn't turn the ball over, has a great command of the offense, can get the guys into the right situation at the right time. And I think with a guy like Kellen, he wants to be able to kill plays, check plays, be able to alert things. You know, and I think in this system, yeah, the play calls are cut down a little bit, but there's a lot on our plate as far as recognizing coverage, understanding protection, and then obviously getting our guys in the right play, going from one play to another. So I think that's obviously really important, but I think showing consistency day in and day out with those key things helps win a job like
I
this.
know you find that his emphasis on kind of like focusing on what you all do well kind of puts you in a better position to do that than maybe you have been before?
Yeah, you know, like I said before, they're going to install their offense. They're going to do the things that they want to do now and try to get a feel for what guys can run, what routes, who the choice route runners are, you know, what kind of things play into that game, and then, you know, so on and so forth. But I think as far as installing, like, we're going to install base downs, we're going to install third down, we're going to install red zone, we're going to go shot plays, we're going to go put our situational stuff in 2 minute. None of that's going to be tailored to any player right now. It's going to be who can execute and who can do the things that our offense requires us to do. And then I think on game day, whoever the starter is, we'll tailor things to make it to the point where, hey, I know this guy likes this. Maybe let's put a little more of that into the game plan, if that makes sense. What makes him comfortable? And I think those are the biggest things that make it a really good play caller, a good play caller.
Jake, the way last year went with you with your diagnosis, you talked about mentally earlier. How much clearer is it for you now being able to come in here without?
You know, I think the biggest thing, like, every year there's always probably something. This year it's just I haven't played football in 8 months. So, you know, I got 6 plays of 7-on-7 in OTAs, and that was it. I was watching. So I think, you know, the biggest thing is just adapting to a new system, plays I have never run before. You know, it was similar at Fresno State because Kirby, Kellen's brother, was my coordinator, and he ran a similar type offense, but it's different coaching now. It's different things that they're asking us to do with our feet. So I think just getting in a rhythm with that, and then slowly not slowly, learning quickly. You have to get in this obvious situation, competition, you have to get on track fast, and you have to start executing at a high level. So I think just getting back to playing football is you know, been my take on it.
With guys like Kellen and Doug Nussmeier and quarterback coach Scott Tolzien, how does that help to replace what, you know, lacks as far as a veteran quarterback in the room itself?
Yeah, I mean, those guys all play quarterback, right? So, you know, I think at the end of the day, they're going to be able to give us a lot of insight and a lot of things on, you know, hey, we see it this way. You might want to see it through this lens. You know, I think those are all perspectives that can be beneficial to young quarterbacks, seeing things through different lenses that we might. I think a powerful statement is you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes those guys have been around it for 15, 20 years. We got Coach Linehan in there too, coordinator, head coach, seen a lot of things. So I just think being able to ask those guys questions and hearing their feedback in the meeting room is just the same as hearing it from a guy that's been in the league 10 years, because they were in the league for that long.
Jake, I know we're like 5% into probably what the defense is going to show you guys, but like, what are some of the wrinkles that Staley has, some of the things they try to do to make?
I mean, they're keeping it pretty basic right now. They threw a 0 at us today, you know, coming from both sides, mugging it with the Mike backer. But I think right now off the bat, I think the one thing that Staley does, that if you go look on tape, he tries to hold that shell for a really long time and make it to the, you know, the quarterback side that it's shell defense. And then they're going to drop one from the sky, you know, kind of have that 60-40 lean safety, play variations of 3, play cover 8, quarter, half, play quads, play quarters. And then they're going to, you know, have some blitz replace stuff too as well. And I think the biggest thing for us quarterbacks is seeing different looks, seeing different pressures, understanding when we're hot. And I think that's the biggest thing too. when we're new quarterbacks in a new system, understanding like, okay, hey, this is your built-in hot to this side. Oh, hey, I need to point this guy to understand that he's the hot here. So I just think protections in the beginning stages of training camp are really big to emphasize. And once we start getting more comfortable with that, the faster you play.
When they do kind of hold it for a long time, like what does that do to your? Does it just kind of add like a little?
You look at linebacker displacement. You kind of see like, hey, is this a gap defense? Like, if this linebacker is inside the 3 technique, I might have some type of rotation from that side, and then understanding kind of little intricacies that can help you out to making decisions that much faster.
What do you like about tempo in this offense?
I think that's the best part. Being able to have an explosive play, then boom, you're right back on the ball, and you're stressing the defense. They can't sub personnel. Like, if you're on the field with base defense, and then you're in 12, and you run up and you're trying to run things fast. Like, you got advantages in some areas, and I think that's the biggest thing of stressing the defense with intention and with urgency is a way that Kellen's going to approach this year.
You did it today. Is it like how much of it is it on the say of a quarterback, or do you like see like how does it?
I mean, he's in our head like, hey, we're going fast here. I'm not just like, hey, like we're gonna go. That'd be crazy. But like, yeah, he's just like in our ear, like, hey, tempo. Hey, like one of our whatever our plays are, and we're gonna go fast, and we're gonna try to get on the ball and stress the defense. And I think the biggest thing when you use tempo in a system like this, when teams have exotic blitz packages and on third downs and stuff like that, and you use tempo on third down, that coordinator's not going to just get into one of his exotics. He's going to get to something that he's comfortable in. So he might give the quarterback on defense a picture that we're more comfortable seeing. We can go through progression. We don't have exotic pressure, maybe, if we're going tempo. So I think Kellen does a really good job of integrating that into a game plan, and then hopefully allowing us to use it to our advantage.
And Kellen this week. No, Rod, if you want to. Okay.
I'll take it next.
Okay. Kellen this week, and Mickey too. Like, we maybe accidentally said 2-man quarterback competition. They quickly corrected it to 3. How do you just like make it that, and then like, do you appreciate like you get the sense that they're taking you seriously?
Well, Matthew, I will say this. I will say this: if I've learned one thing in this league does not care about your feelings. Doesn't care about who you are, what you do. It's all about what you've done for me lately. And I believe this organization. Respect them. They drafted me. If they didn't truly believe that I could be a guy that they think could win the starting job, they wouldn't include me in it. Simple as that. They wouldn't just make me feel good about myself. It's all about, hey, we think Jake's a guy that can compete for this job, and we're going to give him an equal opportunity, and I totally respect that. At the end of the day, if I go out there and I execute and I do the things I'm supposed to do, then I'm confident what I can do. But yeah, I totally see it as a 3-man race. I think I've earned that right. I think I work my tail off. I think my teammates respect me, and I think I'm, cerebral enough to be able to command the troops when the moment's brightest.
You called yourself an underdog earlier in this.
I always
is that
am.
just what you do to motivate yourself?
No, I think I always am. I think you guys give me plenty of opportunities to do that. So, yeah, no, it's powerful. There's plenty of opportunities to have that underdog mentality. I've always been an underdog in every way, every set of the imagination, but no one can measure what's in here, and no one can measure the sort of competitor that I am and what I'm willing to do to win. Go watch the UCLA game in 2021. Just go watch that, and that's a testament to how competitive I am and what I want to do to try to win games on a weekly basis, and what I'm willing to do for my teammates, for my city, for my organization, and the people that ultimately believe in what I can do.
Jake, does it feel weird to be the veteran with the most experience in
that is a little weird. Yeah, that is a little weird. I feel like I've played a lot of football. I feel like I've been around a lot of offenses, and as I was telling Ross before, like, I might have told Nick this too. I mean, going back to my freshman year when I was 18, I'm 26 now, so 8 years ago, I've probably been in 7 different systems, 6 or 7 different systems, and being able to, number one, be around different minds, powerful. I've been around Jeff Tedford, Kalen DeBoer, Chris Peterson, Jonathan Smith. I mean, you name it. Bush Hamden, all these different guys. And then Drew Brees' offense, Pete Carmichael, the Sean Payton system, Gary Kubiak's system with his son, Clint, and now Kellen Moore, another bright mind. Like, I've been around so many things. So you guys say veteran quarterback? Yeah, I might not have been in the league for 10 years, but I've been around a lot of very bright people who obviously, have trusted what I can do, and obviously see me in a high regard of seeing me as a cerebral guy. I feel like that's one thing that I've always carried with me. Hey, he can pick things up fast and be able to digest information. So, I've only been in the league 3 years. There's still so much for me to learn. and I'm not blind to that, but I also think that I can learn things fast and add value to that as well, like helping guys see things differently, seeing things faster, and just being able to communicate. I think that's a powerful thing, being able to communicate.
It feels like you also have just kind of a comfort with yourself, just
Yeah.
in terms of who you're, because you've been a pro for
Yeah.
for 3 years. Does that help any in this competition? Just
Yeah.
knowing that you've been a pro for for 3 years. And
Yeah,
have that experience.
you know, and I think the biggest thing is to like, some guys don't have the ability or have the opportunity. I shouldn't say ability. Have the opportunity to be able to go through a quarterback competition as many times as I have. I've been in 3 or 4 different quarterback battles now. I don't think I was favored to win any of them. And I think the biggest lesson you learn is just focusing on what you can control. And you guys obviously do a great job, but I am not focused on anything you guys have to say. I am laser focused on what I can do to help my team produce at the best level when I am on the field, right? And obviously I respect Tyler, I respect Spencer. I think they're great quarterbacks. But my job right now is to help my group, if that's with Chris, if that's with Rashid, if that's with Donovan Peoples-Jones, to help them get into the best look they can to be able to execute at a super high level. And that's what I'm worried about. And if I'm worried about that, day in and day out, I can be the most consistent player on that field, and I'm confident that I can do that.
Did you have to like develop a way to tune everything out? Because I mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of,
hard.
there's a lot of
It's
people
not
saying
easy, and I
stuff.
think in a day of age where distraction is everywhere, right? You got to do such a good job of being able to limit this, putting this down, not going on Twitter, not going on Instagram, because now you find it on Instagram. Like, I can't go on my phone without seeing Saints notifications. You know what I mean? And my biggest thing is, okay, when I'm here at the facility, I text my close friends and family, let them know how practice was, and like, I am so focused on the next thing. And it's just living in the moment. I know it sounds cliche, but like, if I can just be super prepared at what I'm doing next, I give myself the best chance to take advantage of that. And that's the biggest thing, taking advantage of opportunities and then being able to go and execute that. And when we have walkthrough later, be super dialed into protections, being able to correct our mistakes. Hey, why did I miss this throw? Why didn't I hit this on time? And I think you just focus on those little intricacies every single day. With a lot of really, really good players, I think you'd like the chances to succeed.
Do you have to like tell your friends and your family like don't
Sometimes
text
I
me that
can't.
tweet?
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, sometimes they do, right? Like, I think I do a good job of communicating with my family. Like, they won't send me notifications anymore. They'll kind of just go and do their own thing, and I'm sure they'll read their own things. But like, for myself, like, they know not to send me things like that. And I think people at this point know, like, they send me something stupid, I'm just not gonna respond. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you can't. It really is nothing against anyone else that I have contacts in my phone, but like, I just have to be so focused and invested on this team, this progress, this opportunity to be able to be the best version of myself.
Let's say you've been an underdog. You said I've been an underdog in every way.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Yeah. What are some of the ways that you list some?
I mean, I'm undersized. I know I've seen this and heard this questions about my arm strength in the past. I really don't think that's a thing at all, actually. John Beck, I work with, 3D QB guy. You guys can give him a call and ask him about my arm strength. See what he has to say about that. I think just in every sense, I try to build that narrative, but I just think I'm counted out for whatever reason. Maybe not the most athletic, not the strongest, not the biggest. But I think it's whatever you perceive. I think perception is reality. And I think at the end of the day, when I perceive those things and those give me, energy and willingness to go and prove everyone wrong, that's been my biggest motivator my whole life. So whatever it takes for you, whatever it takes for you on a daily basis to go be the best reporter you can, those are your whys. And I think my why is to go prove people wrong on a daily basis, to show confidence, to be able to command a room, be able to command my teammates the best way I can.
Well, time for more guys as a team, obviously, but Moore, Nussmeier, Glenn Ansel, they've all overlapped in different places over the years. Is that noticeable with this scheme change compared to other ones?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to take one more from you after, because I just like hearing what you have to say. Back to your question, sorry. I think the biggest thing when guys are together, guys are in a system, they can all bring different pieces from different schemes because they're around different minds, right? And I think this is the biggest copycat league in any sport. You go and watch guys, you go and talk to John Gruden, everybody's trying to run the same plays to the defense that look different. So that's our biggest thing, of trying to get a bunch of plays that look the same but are different. And I think that makes it the hardest on the defense, because hey, this looks the same, but it's something else. Like, that's the biggest guessing game in the sport. So I think these coaches do a really good job of integrating Dallas, integrating the Chargers, integrating Philadelphia, and bringing a blend of those things that, you know, their quarterbacks might have liked, and then obviously giving us the opportunity to rep them and tell them what we like in return.
All right, this week I know the ramp-up period is important. Every phase is important.
No doubt.
Like, how much from the quarterback's perspective do things change Monday when you all put the pads on?
That's the biggest test, right? I think this is a great opportunity to be able to get back to the speed of the game, you know, a pass rush, play in team elements again, feel people around you. I think yesterday I had an opportunity to step up and I missed one. And just feeling like a pocket around you and being able to stay compact and make those tight throws in a confined pocket is what this game is all about. And when you put the pads on, that's the biggest test, man. You got to be able to make throws with a tight pocket with people all around you and guys bearing down on you. So I think when we get into the pads, that's the best opportunity to see, number one, route timing. Guys are going to get bumped off their spot. People are going to get hands on people. Being able to see different pressures, being able to stand in there when the running back is taking the mic on in a, you know, cover one blitz, and being able to step in there and feel that pocket and be able to make a throw, like I said. So that's the game. This helmet stuff with no shoulder pads and no pants, that's all great. And I think the timing element is huge to be able to get going early. But when you put the pads on, that's the biggest opportunity.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Tyler, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, wait, what am I doing?
What are you doing?
That's a good view.
Yes. Tyler, on the touchdown to Rashid, did you change something there at the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
you
So,
walked it
really good red zone play. We had a running back wheel motioning the running back out, kind of a shallow back line. You're trying to high-low them if they're in shell or quarters, or they can bring zero, and you'll have a kind of a check there to change it. So we had that kind of built in. So I saw zero, changed the play, kept them in protection, and just drifted away from the hot to find them. So it was really good communication by the O-line and everybody kind of getting it. But yeah, it was a good, just kind of good rep to go through in the installs and kind of what we're trying to get done and look for. But it was a good catch by him. I got to put a little bit more on him.
What changes mentally, operation-wise, on a day like today where it's shorter field? Is there anything?
Yeah. I mean, everything's got to quicken up. Your mindset is touchdown. You know, it's either now or later. Scott Tolzien says it all the time. It's either now off of rhythm, or you're scrambling and you're finding it later, or it's a throwaway. You know, I had quite a few throwaways. You know, the one to AK. We're hot. You're getting out of your hands. One over the back of the end zone. So you're trying to limit those negative plays or make the big one. So it's great I think that they prioritize those situations early on, because I think that's kind of the biggest difference in wins and losses.
You had a couple to Shaheed today. Is that an adjustment? He's ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
Is that an adjustment for you dealing with him, and how would you describe throwing to him?
I think every guy runs routes differently, so I think that's the coolest part about, for me, is just getting a bunch of different reps with all the guys. So for me, I definitely know when he's in, I gotta make sure I'm ready to get out in front of him, make sure my cleats are in the ground. But I think that's the best part is Olave and the way he run routes, and Brandon Cooks and how I'm throwing to him, and Sed and Tip and Bub and all the guys that we're getting reps with. So we're still clicking every single day. And then you got Jawan and our other tight ends. But to your question with Sheed, there is a little bit different gear that you got to be able to be ready for.
Tyler, whenever you're going today with the ones, how does that change maybe your approach compared to when you were running with the two the previous day?
For me, the approach is the same. I'm going to go in and command the huddle, to the best of my ability. But I think today I was really intentional, about my first time getting it with them, that coming in and having a presence, being loud and being, we're having that dialogue with all those guys. And I wanted them to know that I'm coming in, ready to do the job. And I think it was a really good day operationally wise. And then it was a lot of fun being out there, even though it was a shorter red zone day. But to kind of keep rolling, it felt really good.
Where do you feel like you're at, like just as far as like your comfort level, and just feeling like Tyler Shuck every time you go out there?
Yeah, I think for me, every day I feel like I get better. I think the biggest thing, like yesterday, we're going. Every play is not going to be perfect, but I think how we kind of responded and how I kind of come back each day, that's the biggest thing I'm looking for, because we're all in the same new offense. We're not going to be operating like it's, week 17 and, And for everybody, we're having we got to be sharp mistakes wise. I got to have better ball placement. Almost every time I'm trying to get better. So to your point, no, I'm not exactly where I want to be at all. But I think that's a good thing. I think we have a lot more ways to grow, and that's the part I think Kellen and all the staff do a really good job with. Putting a lot of stuff on our plate, but at the same time understanding how we can be successful.
How do you feel like your path to get here with the injuries and the setbacks? And
Yeah.
How do you feel like that's maybe calloused you for a situation like this to handle it maybe in the best way possible?
It's helped me out so much because I think just even your day-to-day interactions with guys, having fun, joking around with Cam Jordan, joking around with guys that are vets, and maybe when you're a 20, 21-year-old rookie, you're kind of coming in just whatever. But I think, we're all trying to get to the bowl. We're all trying to do everything that we can do to get better. So having played in 5 different systems, having been a backup, been hurt, all those things, and been a starter, and has really helped me just day-to-day wise, and then also learning the new system and commanding the huddle and those things. But I'm just trying to find little ways to keep sharpening it.
When you're in a competition, do you have to try to caution against sticking mentally on a negative play, or even a positive one, and just really moving on to the next play and just kind of have that kind of mental?
Yeah, I think in general, we're in practice. They're scripted scenarios. We're scripted. It's not the flow of the game. We're trying to operate within the best. So a lot of times a throwaway or not taking a sack here or putting on this are sometimes good plays, and they may not look good in comparison to, if I have a good throw or Spencer has a good throw or Jake has a good throw. I try and go at it and just win that rep, and I think that's the whole goal. So for me, I've been in a bunch of different competitions. Human nature is like, oh, this guy threw it deep, I want to throw it deep. But the biggest thing that coach is looking for and I want to do is just execute it to the best of my ability, and then the good things will happen.
Along those lines, is it hard to work on something you would consider a weakness or something you need to develop when you want the results of who's having a better day?
No. I mean, for me, it's just, everybody's gonna have good days and bad days. That's part of it, and especially with you're running a new system. But I think for me, it's just how do I operate within the huddle? How does the rep look? How did I execute? What could I have done better? But I feel like every physically wise, all that stuff, it's just marrying up continually every single day. So for me, I'm not worried about all the other stuff, and I try and do the best I can so we all can kind of get better.
Tyler, getting back to the adversity that you faced in college, now that you're in camp, do you feel that you stayed in school has helped you out tremendously?
Yeah, no, I think it has, just because, one, like I said earlier, just from operating within the building standpoint, comfortability there, and then also just kind of coming out to practice, you say, and having that sharpness. And I also understand how Foster and Taysom are feeling right now, and you're on the sideline and you're itching to get back, and I can see it in their eyes because I've been there and I would do anything to get back on the field, and that's kind of how I'm treating every single day, competing and trying to be the starter and trying to do everything I can to help the team, because I think we got all the talent in the world for this team wise, and I think that me, Spencer, Jake, our job is just kind of facilitate it and do the best we can.
How would you describe this quarterback room?
Say again?
How would you describe this quarterback room, the way you guys are getting along?
Oh, it's
just
awesome.
Everything about it.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I think the best thing is that we're all kind of around the same age. I feel like we all kind of have a really unique experience. Yeah, I'm a rookie, but I've also seen some stuff in college. Jake's seen a lot of stuff in the NFL and had to battle through some stuff. So is Spencer. And I think we kind of have that great mindset of we're competing, but we're having fun, and we're trying to get better. So it's been really fun so far, and I'm excited to kind of keep battling.
What do you make of the most about Tolzien and Nussmeier and Kellen in the QB room when y'all prepare?
Yeah.
Has there been anything specifically behind the scenes that stood out to you when it comes to how impressive those guys are?
Yeah, I think multiple things from all those guys that you said. I think Scott does a really good job of making it understandable in the language that we're speaking in the offense because he's been in it before. Kellen's really impressive as far as he's not really worried about certain game plan specific plays that maybe may not come up or he may not call, but we're trying to just get everything installed, communicated, and now we're kind of hitting the ground training camp. We're getting everything rolling. So, and then Coach Nussmeier, he's seen it all as well, just being a quarterback coach for so long, being at all different levels. So I really enjoy just being in the room with them and continuing to learn.
Tyler, how'd you go about managing sort of the nonstop off season, going
Yeah.
from college to the draft, prep, and then now here?
Yeah. For me, like I wanted to be intentional about getting to know everybody, being around the guys, and that's obviously the one thing that they tell you. You know, you don't really have an off season as a rookie, but I wanted to try and take advantage of it and just get around the guys and being around everybody, because we got to be there longer as a rookie and go do the camp and go meet coaches and try and do as much as I can to throw with the guys in the off season and hold those stuff, just because you're hitting the ground running. You can have some vacay time whenever you're done playing. Kind of how I see it, but I think the opportunity is there, and I wanted to try and set myself up in the best position.
What is your approach to, or how would you describe your approach to getting to know the place where you've been drafted to play?
Yeah.
And why is it that way? Is it something from within? Is it a combination of advice you received from anyone in particular, or what is that all about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. I think part of it is just getting to know everybody, and I think when I've had success is, the more chemistry you have with everybody, and that's within your teammates and also within the city, and just being around people and just being who I am, really. Because I think, we talked about earlier, I'm going to have good days and bad days. Same with the city, same with everybody. So, like, just being vulnerable, getting around everybody, going at places to eat. That's been the funnest part, because football only really lasts so long, and I think that's been the cool part, getting to talk with Archie a bunch. And he's not from here, but the impact that he's made and how long he stayed. Obviously, same with Drew and a lot of these guys who've kind of came back and worked here. That's my goal. I want to work in the NFL as long as I can, playing, coaching, whatever it is. And obviously, being in New Orleans is such a great place to be as well.
How have the people in the city kind of responded to you, like just when you're out and about?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people recognize me, but a lot of the first questions about my dog or about something else, but or where are you going to eat next? But it's been really good so far, and I really enjoy getting to know everybody. They've been just down to earth, really cool. Like just talking about football, talking about how you're feeling, and I've really enjoyed it.
Tyler, that do it quick or like extended mentality that you mentioned Scott has, like on the place, like what's the trigger in your mind when you go, okay, like I'm going to bail on the pocket, maybe get out, extend it. Like what do you kind of need to see to get to that?
It's play specific. It's going to depend on the drop and what we're trying to get the look, and but for me it's 2 seconds, a couple seconds, especially down there, and even quicker. So it's all a feel thing, and I think that comes with the reps as far as how we're running the routes, what we're trying to get done. But for me, I feel like I'm getting really a lot better every single day, and I got to keep doing that and focus on my job and focus on getting everybody the ball and learning and being the best guy I can for them.
People often look at like time to throw and they think like faster is better. Is that kind of maybe like outdated thinking with the way people play now? Like so much stuff happening outside of the pocket.
Yeah, I think. I mean, that's why we rep it so much every single day. It's those second action plays. I think those are honestly where the biggest plays that get made, and you want to play on time and do everything you can, but sometimes a guy's going to slip or maybe run the wrong route, or maybe late, or we may have a block, and that's just part of it. The defense, they're out here working their butts off. They're going to win some reps too, so we got to try and make a play, and then sometimes the best play is a throwaway, or the best play is running it, and that really stuck with me, just kind of working with a lot of these coaches, and they understand that that's what they're looking for. They don't really care about the perfect throw stat-wise or whatever it is going to be, because in the game the bullets are flying. You got to go make a play and operate.
So maybe a dumb question, but what have you made of like the schedule that Kellen Moore's got you on, and maybe like recovery time management, that sort of stuff?
I think it's proven to be successful. I think for him, just doing research-wise, all the different teams he's been on, different staffs, different kind of philosophies. I think this is what they did with the Eagles as far as recovery-wise, how much work, how intentional you're being about a lot of those days lifting. And I think a lot of the guys are responding really well. I know coming out to practice, I feel like we get really, really, really good work in. And I think that's just, and then continuing after and walk through. So I'm just excited to keep going. I mean, if it's only day 2, but we got so much more to go.
He has a why for everything, huh? Kellen?
Yeah, I think that's been the cool thing is he's had success with. That's the hard part when you're in that, like different personalities, different coaches, different players. You don't have the same guy for you know, 10, 15 years, he's had different quarterbacks, and that's really cool because he puts a lot on us. He's like, hey, what do you feel about, you know, this? Or I'm thinking, you know, that. And then Ted Rath, he does a phenomenal job, our strength coach. So I'm just really excited to be here and then just do my part and continue to grow because I think we're set up for, you know, really good success.
Tyler, what was the summer break like for you? And, you know, how did those throwing sessions specifically away from the facility help you kind of like bond with your teammates and things like that?
I mean, it was awesome. I think being in Oregon, you know, having Brandon coach set that up, that was one of the coolest experiences I've ever been on. And just being able to kind of pour into each other and have fellowship that way off the field. Like, that's what it's about. You're trying to make it like college as much as you can. Obviously, people have their own, you know, families and we have our off the field lives, but being around each other, that's why we do it, you know. And you know, throwing in Dallas and getting as much guys as you can out there and going out to eat, and that's what we're trying to create is that chemistry and then just throwing a bunch. So for me, that was just learning from them and hearing what, you know, a lot of quarterbacks have done in the past and talking to Cooks about that, about, you know, what has worked for him.
You started in the good weather and then just gradually came down in the hotter and hotter weather.
Yeah. Went to Oregon and then went to Dallas. Was pretty hot there, and then got acclimated, and now we're down here. But no, it's actually been not too bad the past couple of days. A little overcast, but I'm sure it'll get hotter. Yeah, I'm sure it'll get hotter.
What do you make of the variety that Kellen Moore uses with tempo? Like, you're not going fast all the time, but there's kind of a rhythm to it.
Yeah, I think we're trying to be as fast as we can. I think that's my job and the quarterback's job, and the O-line, everybody, just getting up and getting down as fast as we can. And I think we can do a better job of that, just creating that sense of urgency, because I think that's how he's had success in the past, and then being able to slow it down.
Do you feel like the lack of veteran presence in the quarterback room has allowed you to approach things looser than maybe a scary team would?
I think there is a veteran presence in the quarterback room. I think you got Scott Linehan and Doug Nussmeier and Kellen and Scott, as far as just like, and Taysom. He's a veteran. I think he's been such a great resource for me and learning from all those guys. And, you know, obviously you want to keep it loose and have fun, but understand that, you know, there's a standard and we're trying to increase it and live up to it every day.
Tyler, is there anything that's emerged as an area that you've found you need to shore up or work on or hone in on in the first?
Yeah, I mean, every day. I think there's little things every single day. I'm trying to, you know, time up this footwork with a brand new route we're putting in, and working with these guys. So every single day, I'm trying to find one thing that I can be of service to those guys. But I know I'm fully confident in my abilities to get it out, throw it, to operate. I feel really comfortable, just mindset-wise, operating within it. So for me, just making sure that my timing is right with everything, and I think it's continuing to get better.
As having gone through like competitions before, is there part of the competition that you can like feel shift, whether you're in the lead or in the back, and then like how do you kind of handle that wave if there is one?
For me, I think, you know, we don't really tend to think of it like that, where you're in the lead or not, because every single day we're just trying to make the team better. We're trying to get better. We have to. We're trying to learn, you know, as much as we can. And I think the fun part is that we've all been in competitions before. We understand that only one guy can play, but any way we can just continue to make each other better, then that at the end of the day, we're all going to be better. And but yeah, it's been really fun.
None of the injuries.
Last question.
None of the injuries have been soft tissue, ligament, or anything. Do you feel like the noise about the injuries is overblown at all, or do you think it's
I don't know if overblown is the right word. I think it's just, I understand at the time the timing sucked of it. You know, I wasn't playing, but for me it hasn't affected me. I think that's why, kind of towards the draft, and why there wasn't as much buzz around my name in the beginning, and understanding that it was just the bone breaks and kind of what was on film was, you know, who I am. And I think I just conveying that in interviews and here and how I operate, and then also continuing to run the ball. Continuing to run the ball and continuing to utilize that part of the game is what I want to do.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks, Rob. Thank you.
We got one more quarterback. Hunter Decker's coming next.
And then we get Taysom, right? It's all the quarterback.
Stand by.
How does it feel?
everyone doing?
How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. It's heat down here. It's a little different.
A little bit.
Just a little different.
It's not the heat.
Oh, I
though.
know. It's the humidity.
humidity.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You don't get that. You don't get that in Iowa.
No.
Does that affect how you play?
No, no. I mean, you play in Texas. You play everywhere in college. So I mean, you play in games that are this hot, but it's definitely something, an adjustment to be playing in it every single day. That's for sure.
Speaking of adjustments, how is it trying to learn and advance as much as you can without all the volume of reps?
Yeah. Honestly, that's the name of the game in the NFL. You're not going to get every single rep like you do in college. So mental reps are a very big part of the NFL. So whether you're not in it or you're in, I mean, you got to take every rep like you are in, whether you're standing behind the play or not. You got to take it like you're playing. But it's been really good so far, honestly. It was definitely an adjustment to start, but this summer was big for me. Just learning the offense, getting time to sit down and really study it and invest into the offense has been really good.
Kellen's kind of talked about it being a three-man race. So how do you kind of approach that, and like, what do you want to show?
Yeah. Honestly, whenever I get my chance on the field, it's just to show what I can do. I mean, that's all I can really do at this point. I'm going to put my head down and work. That's what I've done my whole life. So that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Hunter, can you talk about your journey on how you ended up here, because you were an invite there?
Yeah.
If you can just talk about from the draft.
Yeah. My draft process was obviously a little bit different than everyone else's, from what I had to go through before that. But I talked to quite a few teams during my draft process, and then the draft came. I got no phone calls, and this was actually the only team that reached out after for a minicamp invite, and I accepted it, came here, and got signed the last day of minicamp. So the rest has been history.
Did they talk to you at all about what they saw during that tryout that led to that signing, and how do you build on that?
Yeah, but prior to it, they said they wanted to, but at the same time they wanted to see how I would obviously throw in the moment, because I've obviously been away from the highest level of college for 2 years. So the biggest thing was for them, they wanted to see it in person because they never saw it. So that was the biggest thing coming in here, is I knew I just had to come in here and perform, and if I do that, it'd be just fine. And I've done that, and now I'm just ready to learn the offense.
From your standpoint, what kind of other qualities of this offense, especially going into it as a quarterback, and how do you see this offense going on?
Yeah, honestly, Coach Nussmeier and Coach Moore make this definitely a quarterback-friendly offense. They try to put you in the best situation possible every single play, whether it's hurry up, whether it's doing dummy cadences. Honestly, it's been really fun to see so far how they let the quarterback kind of control the offense, but at the same time they try to put you in the best situation every play.
As you're basically taking mental reps throughout most of the team period stuff, does that change your focus level? Where you can't just kind of mess around because that's actually what you got to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, in college, obviously, I would say once you're the starter, you kind of know the offense in and out. That's kind of how it is, and you're also getting probably 85-90% of the reps in practice. Here, even when you're the starter, you're probably only getting 50% of the reps right now anyway. So it's mental reps are the most important thing. So it's definitely something that you really have to lock in and focus on when you're in the NFL practice for sure.
This is probably a dumb question, but taking mental reps and being left-handed, is it kind of different as far as how you have to process all that?
Honestly, no. I've done it my whole life. I've played around a bunch of right-handed guys. So at Iowa State, I sat behind Brock for 2 years. I've sat there, and I feel like I've done it my whole life. So even when a guy's trying to teach me something and they're doing it right-handed, I feel like my mind just instantly switches it to left-handed. So it's kind of just something I've done my whole life, I'd say.
Do you ever hear anything from the receivers about different spin on the ball?
Oh yeah. It's definitely. You can definitely tell when a receiver's never caught from a left-handed guy. Yeah, because it does. It kind of spins on you differently, comes in on your hands a little differently, and it's definitely something. If you've never done it before, it's definitely an adjustment for the beginning of the period for sure.
That makes sense for Kellen and us then. So.
Yeah.
What has, if anything, have you been able to talk to Taysom? A lot of people said there's no veteran quarterbacks here, but Taysom started 15 games as an NFL quarterback. Able to pick his brain on stuff.
Yeah. Obviously Taysom was gone during OTAs, rehabbing his knee, but he's been back for training camp now. So we've definitely picked his brain. I have as well. I picked his brain quite often. Just when I get time to talk to him. So it's been really good to pick his brain so far, for sure.
Is he sitting in the meeting room with you guys, or do you have to approach him differently? How does that kind of work?
I think it just depends on the situation. I mean, he sits in every meeting room. To be honest, you know how he is. He's a jack of all trades. He plays every position, so he's got to know everything.
Have you ever been around anybody like that before? That's like in every position room like that?
Not that I can remember. No. I mean, he's a special player. That's for sure.
You said the Saints were the only team that reached out after the draft.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about that?
You know, that's kind of in the past, to be honest. I don't really look back at who reached out to me and who didn't. I mean, I'm here now, so that's all I can really do is focus on in the moment.
Do you think, like some of us covered Drew Brees forever, and he was one of those guys who used to say everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
especially pertaining to early in his career.
Yeah.
He didn't start, and then he got benched 3 times, and his shoulder blew up. You ended up at a team that has a triumvirate of quarterback coaches, if you will.
Yeah.
Do you subscribe to that kind of thing? Like, do you tell yourself everything happens for a reason, or do you not believe in any of that?
No, I definitely believe in that. I mean, I went through the hardest time of my life this past 2 years. So I definitely had a lot of learning moments in that, and definitely had to take that mindset for sure. For the last 2 years, it's been a huge learning thing for me. So just living in the moment is something that all I can do at this point.
Could you maybe summarize the major lesson you got? What's been most instructive about it to you, and might be relatable to other people?
Yeah. Honestly, I would just say don't take anything for granted. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Is living in the moment is the biggest thing, but don't take what you have for granted at all, because you don't know when it can get taken away.
Anything else?
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.